Amit Dahiyabadshah is the founder of Delhi Poetry Movement. He is a poet laureate and he is a successful poet. His love for environment and nature reflects in his poetry. And he believes that poets must get money for their work. He is recently in Vizag as a chief guest in the decennial celebrations of Mosaic, a literary organization. In an exclusive interview with Vikasa Dhatri, he gave a message to young poets and is pleased to recite a few poems.
Across the length and breadth of this country, I meet poets every day. And they find themselves in a strange kind of morass, where young poets fail to find publishers for their work, and accomplished poets do not see a penny, or little more than a penny, for their efforts. Unless we the poets get together and set up models that A, help us to retrieve poetry from the academic world where it does not belong and take it back to the community where it does. And unless we organize regular poetry readings at a fixed time, fixed place, fixed date, we are not going to be able to escape from the Chakravyuh in which Indian poets find themselves trapped. It is only when we take upon ourselves the task of not only writing poetry and reading our hearts out, but also selling our poetry, that we're going to see a change in this unfortunate situation. So my suggestion to poets everywhere is to network, to organize, to connect, set up groups that meet on a fixed day at a fixed time at a fixed place, and to hold a poetry reading whether one person turns up or 200. In a very short time, people will learn that poetry is available there, and their own inner thirst will draw them there on a regular basis, and your poetry will begin to sell. Delhi, where every twisting, turning, winding lane tells growing tales of mystery, where any piece of fallen stone could be a piece of broken history, where empires forged in blood and steel have stayed as saffron scent on kitchen air, where the paradox is everywhere, of an imperial city with the flavors of a village, where a pavement dweller pretends to tell you what your life holds, and his caged parrot picks your chances, where a street urchin steals only the tune from your car stereo and dances, where there is still shade enough for shadeful glances, and where a true love may still be found with just 4 lines of good poetry. Delhi. Bhiksha. I do not become a beggar when I invite you to open the granary of your heart. You do not become a giver and I am no taker when a small handful of food changes hands. Instead, when your fingers curl into a small cup of giving and my hand falls into a large bowl of receiving, we form a yantra of sacred sharing, a perfect mudra of 2 imperfect parts. When a single rice grain performs that long journey between us, it ends the famine between our souls, these empty, aching, and hungry hearts. The last will of the tiger. I do not believe that we will save the tiger, for we are simply unable to make the sacrifices necessary to save him. The simple truth is, the wetlands that we took for rice cultivation protect the grassy plains and meadows. The grassy plains and meadows protect the deer. It is the deer that saves the tiger. So unless we are willing to return some rice land to wetland, some wheat and sugar cane fields to grassy plain and meadow, we will not be able to work to save the tiger, because the wetland will save the meadow will save the deer will save the tiger. Who are we to pretend to save the tiger, when in a city like Delhi we could not even save the sparrow? I find it ironical that the people who could not save the sparrow are now speaking of saving the tiger. Before he goes into extinction, the last tiger will write his will. This is the last will of the tiger. When you have stolen my skin from my entity, and remove the rod from my life, O hunter, wield that skinning knife with some grace, a little skill. For I too have hunted and killed many, many, many times, but every kill was a prayer in praise of the Creator. My movements were always quick, clean, merciful. Such is the way of true believers. But to you now, hunter, slice, slash, and cut clean. I pray only that you leave no part of me behind, to be eaten by the jackal and the hyena. For I have ruled this forest on behalf of the Creator himself, and there is no honor in a king becoming carrion. So take the sacred color from my coat, send it back to the maker of sunsets. So take the sacred color from my coat, send it back to the maker of sunsets. Take the darkness of my stripe and return it to the shadow and the undergrowth, for that is where it was obtained. Take the white from the fur of my belly and send it back to a new ice age that it returned to avenge me. Send my raw back to my maker, that he fill the heavens with my rage at this shabby end for a true king ordained by God himself. Send my claws to the young of the rich and the highborn, to save them from their own nightmares. Send my teeth to Tibet, that their aspirations for freedom find new teeth. Send my bones to China, that they find a cure for the fear that builds such great walls. Send my fat to Singapore, that they learn to make a balm that is mine, not merely a name. Send my shit to the alchemists, but that is the only substance they have not yet tried in their efforts to invent gold. Give my entrails to whoever shall have them. But I hang on to my eyes, you puny murderer, that your tribe might know that you did not fell a creature beneath you, that I looked you in the eye and did not flinch when you shot me. Instead, I am turned away, released from the cancer of your footprint. My advice to young struggling poets is to always carry a copy or two of their poetry published work with them, and to not feel squeamish or embarrassed to say that I am a working poet and I have a book for sale. If you are any good, if you are prepared to read your heart out and give people a taste of your poetry, your books will be sold. And you can make as much as 40%. So why do you want 7 or 8? And most publishers believe that poets should get their money after they are dead. Speaking for myself, I am not so ambitious. I want mine while I'm alive, and I'm happy to get it. Good wishes to all you poets out there. I want to thank Aruna for making this message possible. Thank you.